How are you? Hello, Carl. Miss Kathleen. Hey, T. How you doing tonight? Hello, Fairy Duck. Ain't no telling. Hello, Mr. Steve. Oh, yeah. Oh, here comes Travis. Now, how y'all doing tonight? I'm wore out today. I'm all right. Just ain't real peppy. Uh, yeah, I knew you were having trouble, Jay. Hello, River. Damn. It look like he gonna get it fixed, Travis. Hello, Looters 8. How you doing tonight? Hello, Lily. I said hello to you already. Hello, Miss Janice. How you doing, girl? Hawkins family. Oh yeah, I'm on the way now, Steve. Still haven't got the energy I had, but that'll come. That's probably from laughing at Kenny so hard last night. Hello, Rome. Yeah, they all easing in here tonight. Ooh, gee, that sounds good. I love a good roast. Yeah, Lillian, it's like having a hangover that headache is, and you didn't have no fun with it. Steve, was that other video, was that the same snake or a different one? I've been there and done that. I know. I thought it was. You gone, T? Oh, I'm doing fine. How about y'all? Yeah. Okay, well, I saw both of them. Hello, Johnny Small. How you doing? Miss Linda Barker. I didn't see her come in. Sorry about that, Linda. You snuck right in the door and I didn't even see you. I used to live down on the coast, Steve, down close to Freeport in Texas, right close to Gulf. When that Brazos River would flood, it flooded all them saltwater flats out. Well, the highways were built up, but there'd be rattlesnakes on there, every kind of snake in the world. Every bush would have a snake hanging in it. And there were some kids had an old Buick station wagon. They cut a hole in the top of it, put wire all on the inside of it, put two seats on the front. Every time that river would flood, they'd come down there and pick them snakes up off the highway. And them three boys put themselves through college at A&M doing that. They just pick them up and drop them inside their car. Hello, Michael Ann. How you doing, darling? Yeah, y'all hit that thumbs up and that anybody hadn't subbed to me, I appreciate it if you would. I bet you have. How big a place do you have, Steve, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, that's just about right then. Well, is there land out there going through the roof like it is where everywhere else? Oh, that's good. Hmm. Okay. And in my part of the country, that's not but about Austin, about 100 miles, I guess. Michael Ann said she didn't ever think she'd turn 30. Is there still parcels in that area that you can buy, Steve, or is it hard to find 5 or 10 acres? Did they take your gun away from you just on account of that? Did it have any improvements on it, Steve? I mean, if a man came out there with cash money in his pocket, he could probably buy something if he wanted to. Hello, Ratback. Okay. Here a few years ago, I should have bought some land out around Big Bend, and but that land was really cheap out there. Jay, you can go in and fight that now. Isn't it funny, Cat? They think that we're a little bit older that they don't realize we already did all that stuff. Probably know what they're thinking before they think it. There you go, right back. I had three good kids. I mean, they were excellent, but a whole lot of that is every time they started to pull something, I knew what they were fixing to do. Hello, and Jay, the pug lady. Okay. Hello, Timmy Ray. Darlene Jones. Hello, that's a name I haven't seen. Doreen. No, Darlene. Okay. Yeah, I need to go buy one for Rocky. But he got where he just wants inside. He got his special spot picked out in this trailer where the air conditioner blows on him. You can't hardly root him off them spots. You know what, that helps keep them cool off. When I have my lab, well, I always keep a pool out there. But you couldn't keep water in it. They get off in it, roll around in it, and then get to standing up, splashing water with their front paws, and they just empty it. Darlene, that's what my daughter's name is. Not the Jones, but he had enough of them, huh? I tell you what, you'd be lucky if you can find a new Harley Davidson right now, Timmy Ray. It was about 100 here, and that's cooler than it has been right back. This Harley Davidson here is selling. They can't get the new Harley, and that's one of the biggest dealers in Texas. Her middle name is. There's a little story behind that. Her name is supposed to be Darlene, and they were wanting to name her after me, and I don't know. Well, after I left, my ex-wife changed the name on the birth certificate, so it made it Rhonda Darlene. And I didn't know about it for a couple of weeks. Two of my kids were done like that. My son, his middle name's Scott, and that's what I always called him, but his first name was Ronnie. The other night, my daughter came into one of these lives, and somebody said something about me not feeling good. She didn't know nothing about it. Woo, I got spoke to over there. She informed me she better not have to come on this live to find out how I was feeling. If it was 80 degrees here, I wouldn't know what to do. That's about the way I am, Janice. My middle name ain't nobody's business but mine. Good Lord Almighty. 6,300? Yeah, that's not a neat bike, though. Yeah, now you can find some used bikes. But a brand new one, not hard to find. I stayed in trouble all the time when I was a kid, so it wasn't nothing unusual. Hell, I've been told that before, Linda. I don't think I'm froze this time. Oh, hello, Amy. I didn't see you come in. Damn. Well, did you break your stream of bad luck on your birthday, Amy? You're gonna have a good one. It ain't gonna be bad this time. I hope Kenny comes in here tonight. After we got off last night, I went back and looked up on Google what he needed to be Googling, and it was companion robot. And me. Well, I got to get Kenny lined up on that. That was fun. Cubby the Beagle. Ooh, can't even talk. Hello, welcome in. It's the first time I've seen you in here, Cubby. We appreciate you coming in. Hello, Mr. Steve.
Hey, Ron. Good evening. How you doing?
Oh, I can't complain. I'm still kicking.
Well, sure glad to see you're feeling better. You were a little rough there for a few days, weren't you?
Yeah, that sort of had about 2 months there between the ribs and the knee. And then that bug. I
It's
was
no
tired.
fun. No fun getting old, is it?
No, I got fed up with that pretty good. I don't do well with that. Oh, we were talking about that land a while ago.
Yeah.
I could have bought land down there close to Big Bend for $50 an acre. You know,
Boy, don't you wish you had that now, huh?
yeah. Well, you can still buy it for about oh, depends on what it is, $300 to $500 an acre down there. I've been thinking about going down there and looking at some.
Now, there's no power down there, right? It's all just bare land.
No,
Is
there's not power, but there's phone lines.
Oh, okay.
They put phone lines in, and uh, it's a big ranch there. It's 250,000 acre ranch, and they split it up into anywhere from 5 acres to 100 acres plot. And of course,
So
ain't
are they
nothing.
gradually selling off the ranch? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, and
Okay.
they've been doing it for 20 years, and they finance it themselves. If anybody wants to finance it, anybody can get it. But then a lot of that stuff, people, they pay for it for a while and they let it come back in. Some of them places been sold 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
And but
I guess that's okay if if they're not ripping people off.
no, it's a legit deal. I mean, land's there, but it damn, Big Ben is just about the middle of nowhere. You know, you're not close to anything at Big Bend, and of course, right on the border too. That land may start coming down. As much hell as they're having on that border.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago we were headed to southern Louisiana, and I was looking at the map and I could see Big Bend. It was way south of I-10, though. It was a little bit too far for our trip that time, but I want to get down there sometime and check it out.
It's a neat place, and that Big Bend, they've got, most people don't know it, but they got two parks there. One of them is Big Bend, and that's a federal park, and then they got a state park. There's a, I don't know how many 100,000 acres is in that deal.
Well, sounds nice.
They claim you can't drive through it in a day.
Yeah, it looks pretty big looking at it from the map.
But nobody ever says anything about the state park. And then they got a 1,000,000-acre place that they've got access to. You can hike on and everything. Used to could hunt on it.
Is there some boondocking down there?
No, not really. There's not any public land down here. That's why what I started thinking about, you know, you can buy 5 acres or 10 acres for $5,000-$6,000, and you know, it'd be a good home base in the wintertime if you wanted it.
Yeah, if you could set up some solar and you had access to water, you know, those are two things you would need.
Yeah, the water, you had to haul that water in or either, you know, have your own catchment system. But that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, the property that we bought had power to the lot line, and then it had, there was a shared well on it that was put in back in the late 1800s. So it was a really old well that they used back when the stagecoach stop was here. And it was only about 125 feet deep, and it wasn't enough water to supply, you know, the people that were on it. So I had a well drilled here to 400 feet, and that's worked pretty well for it.
Ain't no telling what that costs now. And drilling water wells is not cheap anymore.
Yeah, and that was back in 2004, 2005. Back then, the water well was around 25 grand. And
Yeah.
I think it's doubled now.
Oh, at least. It's something else. I don't think, if I did anything down there, I would probably get a RV cover. If I bought something down there in Big Bend, I'd go in there and put me an RV cover up on it, and put one of those RV covers up that's got a workshop on one end of it, and RV cover on the other end, you know. And that'd be all. That'd be all I'd put up. That way, as long as it's portable, there's not any taxes on it.
Have you been through Quartzsite before, Ron?
Just next year,
Have you been through Quartzsite? There's a lot of those RV places there where people just buy a lot and they put up a shade structure and they park their RV underneath there and live there for the winter.
yeah, I've been out there several times.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some nice places.
Yeah, some of those places are really nice. They got some places down here that it's RV park, but they're pretty good size. They're like half acre or something like that. but you've got to put a cover and a storage building on it. But they sell it, and yeah. But boy, they got some fancy ones.
Yes, Diane, they do have hookups. They have electric, sewer right there. And it's a really small, I don't know what it is. It's a small lot, but it's big enough, to park a couple vehicles on it. And people really fix them up nice. But it does get really hot there, as you probably know, in the summertime.
Well, it's like these. I think these paying what, $200 a month or $225 plus electricity or something like that.
Yeah, she's got a good deal there where she is.
You can still find places here in Texas, 275, 300.
Troy, I don't think there's any HOAs there, not that I know of.
You don't hardly see HOAs on raw land. It's usually a housing addition or something. It gets hot out there though, Diane. 115, 120 is not nothing. Well, what's the highest you've seen out there?
Here in where I live?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the weather reports, they're typically lower than what we actually experience here. About anywhere from 2 to 4 degrees hotter here than the weather reports say. We have seen 112 here where we live so far this year.
We've been nearly as hot as y'all this year.
Yeah, and you've got more humidity there than we do here, I think.
But where I live, you got humidity till it hits 100 degrees, and then it dries out. Once you hit 100, I know when I was in the Army down in Louisiana, it was the same way at Fort Polk. Man, at 95, 96 degrees, you'd be dying. The humidity, just be 100%.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It get over 100, and it was getting hotter, but you actually cooled off. It wasn't hurting you as bad.
Yeah. So Bernae made a comment there. I'm wondering if Starlink is good, but all of our devices can't handle the power intensity, etc. So, Bernae, we have 3 grandkids that live close by, and we have Starlink here at the house. And the grandkids came over. They brought their mama with them. So everybody was on their devices, you know how teenagers are, streaming their favorite channels. And then we were watching Netflix at the same time, and they never missed a beat. So I highly recommend it. We're going to take it up to the mountains here, hopefully next month. We do a little camping and take it mobile and see how it works up there.
Well, I sent Kevin a note today, and there's a couple more, and I'd like for you to get in on it if you would. I'd like to pull a live one night with just everybody that's got Starlink, that they had Starlink to be on the panel. And that way, if people want to ask questions, or y'all might find out some things from each other even.
So, yeah, I'd like to do that.
But I'm going to try to put that together. But if you'll get in on it, well, I haven't heard back from Kevin. But what's his buddy's name? I can't think of Kevin's buddy that he counts with name.
Yeah, I don't know what causes the glitchiness. I think it's more related to my laptop here. I forgot to unplug my external hard drive before I came up here. But my laptop set to automatically update whenever I bring it up, and then I guess I've got loaded down too much, so once in a while it freezes it.
Yeah, Maddie Van Halen, that's the one I was trying to goes.
Yeah, we met him up in Dee's meetup in Quartzsite there. He can play the guitar like nobody's business.
Oh yeah, I've seen him do it. But we get him and Kevin and you, and there's a couple more I know that got Starlink. We get a 4 or 5 person panel up here. It would work.
Yeah, especially if you get a couple of nomads, that have used it out on their travels. That's a really good person to have up on a panel.
Well, like Maddie and Kevin would both be that way. And I don't know, I think Ron Seas is fixing to get on it.
Yeah, I think he mentioned that.
So Neil, I might get the phone number from you then, Diane. If you don't think he'd mind you giving it to me. But you know what? I've had people talk about how much juice that it took, and then the other people say it's not very bad. It doesn't eat that much juice up. So
Yeah, I think it runs about 40 to 45 watts. When it's during the day. Now, what does suck it up is if you're in cold weather, snowy, icy weather, it's got a sensor in there that kicks the heater on to melt off snow and ice, and that runs it up to about 100 watts, from what I understand.
well, the way they figure watts, isn't you divide watts by amp? I mean, by 12 to get an amp.
Yeah, if you're running it, but you got to run it on 120 volts,
Right.
110 or 120, and so if you're running on 120 volts, 100 watts would be 12 amps, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was right on that.
Yeah, it'd be about 12 amps.
But that's still not that bad.
No, you probably couldn't run it all night. I'm thinking when we take ours with us, I'll probably shut it off when the sun goes down. We'll be boondocking, and I wouldn't keep it powered up all night.
Well, it looks like these batteries are starting to come down a little bit.
Yeah, especially the lithiums, huh?
Yeah, that's the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There for a while, it was $1,000 for a 100 amp lithium, and it didn't make no difference where you went. And now
Yeah.
see some $300-400.
Yeah, that's about what I paid, was $950. I bought the Battleborn batteries back in December of 2019. I needed to replace them in the RV anyway, so I went ahead and bit the bullet and bought them. Boy, they're great.
Well, they claim there's something else. One of my buddies is getting to be a real big deal with the bass fishermen on the trolling motors.
Uh-huh.
They're going to those lithium because they run a flat down. And so I don't know. I got one 12 volt wet battery and just cab over. Hello, Nate. How you doing, buddy? And I may try to swap it out. I need to redo a little bit on the inside of that camper. I'd like to have 2 batteries in there.
You have a solar panel you can set out, or do you charge it while you're running down the road?
I've got 100 amp solar panel. It's a hard panel. It's not a folding panel. But I'll probably mount it. But I would love to get 200 amp lithiums in that thing. I think that would do everything I want to do. And then I've got one of those Predator 2000 generators, those quiet generators.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Troy, I've heard of that you can build your own. In fact, there's a guy, Will, I think is his name. He's talked about that a little bit about building your own batteries and putting your own battery management system on about half of what they sell for.
well, I've got one deal that I bought a 2.5 horse motor, and we mounted an alternator on it. Now, you got to have it hooked to a battery or you'll blow it up. But that little old 2.5 horse motor will pull that alternator, and it'll put out about 70 amps. You can charge them batteries up pretty quick with it.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I use that on my bow fishing rig where we're running all them 12-volt lights. And slowly but surely, I'm getting my cab over put together. I've got a goal I'm trying to do on this cab over, Steve. I'm trying to go in and just as light as I can do it, I want enough backup food for 2 months. And some of it will be dehydrated, some of it will be freeze dried, some of it will be canned. But I sort of laid it out meal by meal. So there'd be 2 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I'm fixing to start ordering some of the canned goods off Amazon.
Yeah, canned goods. The price of canned goods are going up. Well, everything is actually. We usually buy a few extra canned goods every time we go shopping, and they're getting more and more expensive.
Well, you can order them off Amazon and they'll set them on your front porch.
Yeah, I do a lot of that. I haven't tried canned goods, but we have done other food, and they're getting more and more into food. In fact, I'm even ordering Jeep parts off of Amazon. A lot of parts sellers are advertising on there.
Well, motorcycle parts, that's the best place to buy them.
Yeah. So JJSW said, I've heard the regular lithium batteries are dangerous when they overheat. Have to go with a lithium phosphate. Yeah, these Battleborns are, what do they call it, LifePo. They're in the battery management system that they have in them. If anything goes wrong, if you overamp them or under voltage, they just shut them off. So I don't have any issue with it.
Yeah, the batteries are gonna keep improving. That's gonna be the fastest. The solar panels have got down cheap enough now, but the batteries, they're Tesla and there's 4 or 5 more companies competing head up on these batteries. And that's always been the secret to solar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've run my lithiums down to nothing. In fact, we were out camping and I had a wire come loose on the controller going to the batteries. From the solar to the controller to the batteries, I had a wire come loose while we were traveling up there. And my wife was sitting in the RV and she said, "Hey, the lights are flickering. Lights are off. Everything's off." And so my batteries went to 0. I figured out what the problem was. I had to tighten that connection back up, and then had to wait a few minutes, and then those batteries started charging up. I mean, they went to 0, and they charged back up. Normally, never had any trouble with
it. There's some tricks to it. They claim you sure don't want to charge them when it's cold.
No, that BMS won't let you. If they're below freezing, they won't charge. Boy, it sure was nice to see Ann's pugs. Was that last night or the night before? When she brought them up?
Yeah, that's last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. She's got an Instagram channel. And I was just looking at a little tug of war that she posted on her Instagram.
Yeah,
It's
she posted it on YouTube too today.
oh, okay.
They were wearing each other out.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, and it's nice to see a brother and a sister like that where they can play and keep each other company.
Yeah. Them were some cute little old dogs.
Yeah.
I get blamed for everything else, Cat, so I might as well own up to that too.
The revolving door.
Do what?
The revolving door.
Yeah. I tell you what, I can't. I've got to take my hat off to folks in the comment and let them know I really appreciate it. We're sitting there on 29:30, this time of the night. That just amazes me that many people, get in here and this late at night.
Yeah, and I started live streaming here a few weeks ago, and I struggle with not once I get on there, but I guess I got to feel like I have to give people some information or entertain them, and you just become yourself and let the chat roll along and interact with the chat, and I think it is important to do that. And just let people, kind of drive the direction of the conversation. It works really good for you.
Well, I tell you what, it makes a difference. And the people that come up in the comment section, they, you have 3 or 4 conversations going in comment.
Yeah.
While we're talking up here. I got some ideas I'm trying now a little bit. I'm gonna try to limit the people on screen to 5 people, because you get more than that, people get to stepping on top of each other and you can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah, that's very true. In fact, I'll jump off. It's okay to be up on a panel if you're in conversation, but just sitting there trying not to step on other people is no fun. I don't think. And yeah, William, I'm doing fine. Hopefully you're doing good too.
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna try to get some new people up on the panel too. I want to do that. And any people that haven't been up on the panel, well, y'all need to come on and get up here. And
yeah, we need a puppy update periodically from Ann.
Yeah. I can't believe my dog being as quiet as he is tonight.
Yeah, Michael Ann, that's very true. If you're a viewer, and you're sitting there watching people talk over each other, it gets kind of stressful for me.
Yeah. Well, especially if you got some people that are watching it on YouTube and some watching it on StreamYard. You get a pretty good lag between them two sometimes. Yeah. And it does. It gets hard to hear it. Hard to hear what people are saying.
Right. JJ made a good comment. I want to hear your stories, and that's a lot of what people want to do is kind of get to know you and hear how your day was and what you're up to.
Well, I'm a firm believer, and Kevin was on today, and I was watching him, and he was talking about how boring his life was today. And I think a lot of people that got these channels think it's got to be, sparkles and fireworks and a special deal on every video that comes up. And I watch videos for personalities more than I do. Most of the places that people go, I've already been. But hello, Skinner Farms. How you doing? The but it's like Kevin. Kevin got a line of BS. He sit there and well, you look at me. I can't believe I can sit up there and talk for an hour or 2 hours. You know, I wouldn't believe that if you told me when this thing started I could have done that. And
Yeah, having the gift of gab, as I call it, is important when you're running a channel for sure.
well, and like I said, I've always been about half a smart ass, so that helps too. Anyway, we got a few more in the comments on this thing too. And, but that's what makes this thing.
Sure. Well, and I have noticed that the women run the conversation. You don't have to step on that.
You're breaking up a little bit now, Steve. I don't know if it's me or you.
Maybe I'm too far away. Is that better?
Yeah, try it again.
Hello. Test 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's better. No, it's not always gonna be something. Now I couldn't run this live if I had to pick a topic and we had to stay with it every night. I don't think I could run it like that.
So the first live I did, I was afraid that no one would show up, and so I called my sister up in Iowa and I said, "Hey, I'm going to start doing lives on Monday morning. Can you pop in and chat with me a little bit? I don't want to be by myself." And she came in, and I had about 5 or 6 people on my very first one, and then it's continued to increase from that point. And like your live, you have plenty of people in here having conversations, and so you can keep it going just by interacting with whatever the conversation that you want to jump into, and it works really well.
Well, we have some good times, and then we do have a lot of laughs in this thing, and I think that's part of it. Because that was one thing I promised myself, that there were 2 or 3 things going to be on this live, and one of them there wasn't going to be any damn drama on it. It's going to be good times, or if you can't be in a good mood, we just don't say nothing. And it's pretty well stayed that way. We haven't had a couple instances where somebody got a little upset for running it for. We've been running this thing now 6 or 7 months. I didn't realize it was that long.
Janice says, "Steve, the boys in here can give as much as Bill's do in chat."
Yeah, and it's just a good mix, and I do appreciate that part of it. And every time we get somebody else in here, we're just slowly picking up subs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think it got over 350.
that's good, and you keep growing. You don't want to be losing any. But a few times I've checked, you're continuing to grow, and that's good.
Well, you'll pick up 3 or 4, and then you'll lose 2, and then you'll pick up 3 or 4, and you'll lose 2. That's just the way it goes. And I'm really worried about it. I don't know if I'll ever monetize this thing. So we couldn't get by with some of the things we get by with if it's monetized, I think.
Have you had any issues with?
No, not anything. That one time I got a deal, and they locked my channel down because they never did say for what. And they didn't lock the whole channel down, they locked a video down. So I just deleted the video, but then about 2 days later they come up and it said it was a glitch, that anybody from the 19th to the 22nd that posted a video got that message. So I've never really got anything legit. So, and we play around in here, but we don't. We try to walk that fine edge. It doesn't ever really get nasty in here. It just,
Yeah.
and that's get pretty close sometimes, but
Right on the ragged edge, right?
yeah, as long as you can walk that edge.
So Skinner Farm says they're at 757 and try to hit that 1,000 and do a big one. That's nice. So Skinner Farms, I assume that's has to do with farming.
It doesn't get bad in here at all. We're not gonna let it do that. So, yeah, Skinner, you're doing well on that. How long have you been on YouTube, Josh? There you go, Janice. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, these gals keep things straight in here, and they'll pin somebody's ears back right quick.
Yeah, I've seen Diane do that a couple times.
I think there's not many times I've got to say anything. I've had to a couple times. But most of the time, try to do it easy. Well, Diane and Janice got a pretty quick trigger too. Of course, Cat, Barry does. Michael ain't gonna get by with much.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder where Kenny is tonight. I ain't even seen him on anything.
No, I don't think I saw him anywhere today either.
Had something going on.
Okay, so Skinner Farm says everyday life on the farm, cooking, farming, whatever. And some of those channels are really interesting.
Oh yeah. Well, there is so many people. Like Josh, your everyday work that you do is so foreign to somebody that lives in Chicago or New York or Salt Lake City or something. Uh, and I never realized how bad that was. Some of them people in the city have never seen anything as far as livestock or how to grow something or,
Yeah.
you know. Cat, you have a good one now. Don't get too rough on them boys.
She Devil said I saw Kenny in the chat earlier.
Oh, okay. Well, I did. That's good. I just want to make sure he wasn't sick or something. Kenny, I don't see how Kenny does it. He doesn't. It's one of you don't make yourself sick with not sleeping any more than he does.
Yeah, I know. He's pretty amazing. He's in 2 or 3 of them at the same time.
Yeah, he's a good guy too.
Yeah, and he'll come over to my channel periodically, and he'll watch like 3 videos, and 2 of them are live streams.
Well, to me, the live streams are a lot easier to do than the videos are.
Well, they are because you don't have to do any editing.
No. Yeah. When I come on here, I don't even worry about how it's gonna go. It just it gets a life of its own, just takes off.
Right. And I think I'm going to evolve mine more into doing this, just discussion of whatever people bring up. I'd like to bring a subject to talk about related to Arizona or something that I did, like that catching that snake. Stuff like that, I think people enjoy, and then just going with the conversation.
I don't think we could do that here. I don't think that would work in here. I think, and we talk about everything, but we may talk about 4 or 5 topics in one video. I mean,
Mhm.
one chat. Now a lot of people do. A lot of people is really structured. Yeah. So that makes a difference. It did. And you got to be a little bit different. You can't be just like everybody else. You know,
That's
'cause
very
people
true. Very true.
could get tired of that. I noticed there for a while the prepper channels were just popping up everywhere, and I got to looking around the other night, and there was a bunch of them that had dropped off. You know, they're not posting anything anymore.
Yeah, there's one channel I watch in the mornings called Prepper Nation. A guy named John, and he's over in Carolina, or not Carolina, but over there in that area, Tennessee, Kentucky, Carolina, somewhere over there. And he's not one of those, the sky is falling kind of guys that a
Yeah.
lot of prepper channels are. Gives you good information. It's all opinion based, of course, but it's I enjoy watching him, and he's done pretty well. He's over 50,000 subscribers now.
Well, something that's funny is that people my age and your age were brought up being preppers. I mean, that was just, it's just different than it is now. You sort of had to be ready for. You couldn't depend on somebody else to take care of you. You had to take care of you.
Exactly, yeah. And then going through the military, I did 21 years in the military, and I guess we called it readiness. If they put you on an airplane and they drop you in the middle of nowhere, you had to be able to stand up your unit and do your mission, and you had to be prompt and ready to go for that.
You breaking up again, Steve?
Oh, okay, I don't know why.
Now that was plain there.
Okay.
You're a little bit fuzzy tonight on your picture compared to what it usually is.
Yeah, I've got the setting, the background blurred.
That may be what it is.
Let's see. I'll go none. I
Yeah,
took the blur off. Maybe that's messing it up. I don't know.
and that's better. You're a lot plainer than now.
Okay.
There. Yeah, we have a lot of fun, and there's a lot of information gets passed around on this little old channel.
Yeah. Thanks, Fairy Dust. Appreciate that. There's Troy's channel.
Yeah, and Jay, that's the way my mom was. Uh, I guarantee you, when she passed away, I didn't buy any toilet paper, paper towels, uh, any kind of fruit. She canned all kind of fruit and stuff, and just uh,
Mm.
I guarantee you, that 6 months, my grocery bill didn't amount to hardly anything. Just you know, and she did it the smart way. She go to the grocery store, she might buy 1 or 2 things extra, a couple bucks. That's all. But boy, she had it stocked up.
Yeah, and my grandma did the same thing. She was a farmer in Nebraska, in Ithaca, Nebraska, and she did what most farmers do. Can things and put things up, and they had an underground uh, area where they stored their canned goods and their what's the word I'm looking for? The food that they put up, they put in the jars.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, my mom had one of them pressure cookers, you know, that she'd sit there and put them jars in there and pressure cook that food. She knew how to do all that. Of course, they've got some stuff now that make it so much easier. And you can get any kind of recipe you want off the damn internet.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That
You
really,
know, for anything I need to fix, especially Jeep related stuff, I look on YouTube because somebody has done it before, and you can usually find information that way.
that's a doorknob on another door. Hey, and they knew how to stretch that food too.
Hmm.
I can remember my mom had a bunch of people over that sort of showed up. She didn't know was going to be there off a church deal, and she was fixing something to eat. She reached up there and caught that can of salmon. Reached up there and got them saltine crackers, and she cut that salmon and with them crackers and some more stuff, you know, some green veggies in it. And I don't know how many people she fed out of that one little can of salmon.
Yeah,
I just knew how to do that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wait, now I think we're going to have to learn some of that too. I think a lot of people are. Yeah, it just, boy, none of these gardens have done very well in Texas this year. It's been too damn hot and dry. You know,
Yeah,
that's something I was wondering about your garden out there. I know normally the plants we plant here in Texas, when it hits 100 degrees, they slow way down. They quit producing fruit and that kind of stuff, you know.
yeah. Ours do too. They won't germinate when it hits 100. Now we do pretty good in the wintertime with greens, salad green. You can buy the mixed salad greens seeds, and my wife does that every year, and we eat off of salad green uh, growth all winter long.
You ever try any Swiss chard?
No.
You ought to plant some of that this next year. It stands up to heat better than spinach or the other grains do. It doesn't bolt as fast.
Uh,
And it's real mild. It doesn't have that bitter taste you get sometimes, you know, like out of turnip greens or that
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. And it's big, and the leaves will get like that. They,
Somebody was commenting on that light behind me. That's actually a hall light that I have it turn on at night.
yeah, I think it has too, and I'm not so sure that I'm not going to try something next year on the garden. They've got some troughs that don't have a bottom in them. It's like a horse trough, and I'm gonna buy 3 or 4 of them and try that.
Like
This,
raised garden.
yeah, and just do it. It's sort of container type deal. We put onions and squash in 2 of them this year, and boy, it was easy to take care of them. You didn't have to worry about weeds,
Mhm.
anything. And if I plant a regular garden this next year, I'm gonna put the plastic down. You know, it's too hard to control the damn weed.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been experimenting with, I guess you call them raised beds, but these are actually the totes, the plastic totes that I cut in half. Because the issue here, you put something in the ground, and because it's so dry, the moisture gets sucked away from it as soon as you water it. So having some way to contain the moisture is what we need here. And then, of course, taking care of the sun so it doesn't burn it up.
What we did in those containers, they're about 2 foot tall, I guess, and we went in and put a layer of clay in the bottom of it, just about 2 inches thick, and then put about 6 inches of sand in it.
Mm-hmm.
We took the first foot on the bottom. The clay wouldn't let the moisture run through, but the sand would hold it. And then we went in with our compost and stuff, and like on the onions, we put a lot more sand in the compost with that. They did well like that.
Yeah, you know what we do the best with is jalapenos and peppers. They grow really good down here.
The hotter it is, it seems like the better they do. Yeah, you nearly gotta have a greenhouse up there, don't you, Rat Pack? Oh, y'all strawberries up there, Diane. It's just amazing. We don't even know what strawberries are supposed to taste like down here.
Unless they're from Oregon.
Yeah. By the time they get to Texas, they're just not like the way they are up there. You pick one of them strawberries up and it'll be that big around and just as sweet as sugar,
Yeah, blueberries too, huh?
And the damn strawberries just nearly grow wild up there like dewberries down here in Texas. Yeah, and we've used a little bit of everything, but this just seems like this has worked well on these deals, and they're galvanized straws, so they'll last a long time. Huh?
Diane's dedicated. It's 1:52 where she's at.
Oh, you just got one strawberry? Oh, goodness. I love strawberries. That was one thing when I was up there pulling them RVs in Indiana. And, the cherries would come in season. They had some little, like farmer market type deal the Amish people did. And I didn't realize you had so many different kinds of cherries. There's green ones and yellow ones and blue ones and purple ones, and they all taste different. I eat them things till you get sick. I like greens too. Have you ever tried any of the bean sprouts, like in salad and stuff like that?
Yeah. In fact, my wife is from Okinawa, Japan, and she uses a lot of bean sprouts in her cooking. Asian cooking has a lot of that.
Well, those things are easy to raise. I had one of those little sprouters that I use sometimes. I've got some friends of mine down here, Fair Dust, that got a racket going, and how sometimes your garden just don't work, and how sometimes they do. They sell produce before they ever plant it. In other words, they got different kind of plans that when, say, the tomatoes come in, you want so many pounds of tomatoes, and you want so many pounds of potatoes, and they get all these orders, and it's paid for up front. And then when that stuff starts coming off and getting ripe, well, they call their customers and they come get it. And that way they don't have to go to the bank and borrow the money or do any of that kind of stuff, And they got it sort of made on a sliding scale where if they don't make a crop, well, they'll refund part of the money. But that's getting to be a big thing down here. And the cattle ranchers down here are selling cattle straight to the public.
I heard that. That's interesting.
And boy, it sure tastes different too.
There's a place in Wilcox, I think it is. kind of southeast of Benson. It's apple and peach orchards, and they open it up every year for people to come in and just pick and buy right off the tree. And boy, that's good stuff up there.
Ooh, we had a place down here. To what? I lost that. What are you talking about, Joe? Texas is pretty well God's country, I guarantee you. I got a saying here in Texas that Texas is a state of mind, and that's pretty well right. A little bit different attitude in this state.
You know, in the travels that my wife and I have done through Texas, I mean, the people are just nice there.
Oh yeah.
Every place we stopped, you know, people we interacted with, they're just nice folks. We never had a issue down there.
Well, you know what I found out here in Texas, because I'm born and raised here. But the people in Texas are pretty well go out of their way to be polite, and you know, but don't push them. Now, if you push them and make them mad, and they bow up, well, it's a little bit different. Yeah, sometimes I think that's right, dog. But I've traveled all over the country, and Texas is different. It, I don't know, maybe because it was a country first. I was talking to Janice one night, and I know when I was down in Australia, if they found out you were from Texas, you weren't going to buy a drink. You know, they love Texans down there. And but they had the same background that Texas had. Texas was a damn outlaw state. If you couldn't get along in Mexico, you came to Texas. And if you couldn't get along in the United States, you came to Texas. And down in Australia, well, the way they got started down there, well, they'd empty those debtors' prison and get up as close to the shore as they could with one of them ships and just go to kicking people over. And if you made it, you made it. If you didn't, you didn't. And they, you know, their background was sort of like that.
Mm-hmm. Look at Janice's comment.
Yeah, I saw that. You know, I'm real conscious of that, Janet. It sounds like my voice is deep. It sounds like I'm talking very loud, and I'll talk too soft a lot of the time. But it's different. Yeah, Fairy Dust is. She got a bunch of folks in San Antonio, I think. I love them farmers market. Oh, there were all kind of settlers, but there were some of the convict stock too. What did they call the women? Oh, damn. There were two groups of women came over, and one of them was sort of aristocrat, and the other one were sent over there from debtors' prisons and places like that. And so it's a big deal if a woman can say, well, she was with the debutante type women, you know. What am I trying to say, Janice? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, they got some good barbecue down here, Joe.
Is it true, Ron, that Texas watermelon is like eating out of a mud puddle?
You know, they were talking about cantaloupes a while ago. It's a watermelons is. I used to live where they raised a ton of them, and a watermelon, it takes a lot of water when it's growing, and then the last few weeks of its life, it don't need a drop of rain.
Mm.
If you want a watermelon or a cantaloupe to be real sweet, don't water it in the last few weeks that it's on that vine, and the juice will concentrate in it. It'll be 3 times as sweet. You know, we got some areas up here that in West Texas that doesn't get much water, and they control it. Ooh, they got some good watermelons and cantaloupe. I haven't bought a watermelon this year except one, and it was pretty good. I need to buy another one.
Yeah, we bought a couple of them. They're good for afternoon snacks when it's hot out.
And they're pretty refreshing. Of course, they're 99% water. They, yeah, it wasn't anything bad. It was good night. T. You have a good one, okay? They they used to grow a watermelon down here that they got too big, and they would call it black diamond. But they'd get as big as 100 pounds. But them were the sweetest things you could put in your mouth. Now,
Wow. Oh, I've seen some contests where different growers would compete for the biggest watermelon.
oh, they get some huge. And pumpkins are something else too. They have a 400 or 500 pound pumpkin.
Yeah. Yeah, we
And
have a pumpkin farm here that opens up in, geez, when is, I guess it would be right before Halloween, the month of October. They open up and you go in there and they give you a wagon ride out to the fields and you pick your own pumpkins. Of course, you end up buying more than you really need, but still fun.
they, I still can't think of the name of that. Good night, D. They, I'll look that up. I tell you one thing you better not do down there in Australia. Don't sit down and try to drink with them folks. You take a little old gal weighs 120 pounds and she drink you plumb on the table. Yeah, I know it. It's crazy. What in the hell would you do with a 1,200 pound pumpkin? That make hell of a jack o' lantern with it.
It's all about bragging rights.
That pack, the that black diamond I'm talking about is a dark green and it's a round melon. It's not long. I bet it was right back. I mean, Joe, you ever eat a yellow mated watermelon, Steve?
I think I have, yeah.
So
Don't see them around here very often.
they're pretty good. Yeah, your beer is not much. The beer when I was down there in the states was the same. It was 6.2, and then they got to going to the light beer, and it's 3.2 or 4.2 now. But used to like Slits, Lone Star, any of those beers, they were 6.2. But now the beer now you can't hardly find a 6.2 beer anymore.
And Diane says they sell a lot of the huge pumpkins to carvers to make displays. That's interesting.
I agree with you on that light beer, Janet. That just ugh, water. Of course, I don't hardly drink beer at all anymore, so I can't say too much. Yeah, that's the way it was here. It's alcohol content, William. Like a light beer here in the States is like 3.2 content or 3.6. And used to all the beer, regular beer was 6.2. So,
I knew Ann Jay was a good person. Her history is from Germany. That's where my family came from too.
Janice, you can still get 6.2 beer, but you just got to know what you're asking for. And I used to drink beer like I was scared they wasn't gonna make no more of it, and I don't know. I just got tired of it. Hello, Brett. I got full of it. I guess now I might drink a half a beer once a year, maybe. You know, and I might drink 3 or 4 mixed drinks in a year, but that's about it.
Looks like Diane's allergic to beer.
I'm sort of that way. It got where I could drink a half a beer and not have a headache. You got allergic, and they claim that you get allergic to the hops that causes that.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. I did the same thing when I was working all the time, especially out in the heat. I'd come home, have a beer or two, for years and years I did that. And then I got sensitive to it and I had to quit. And if I can have one once in a while, but not more than, once or twice a week at the most.
It's funny. I don't even like the taste of it now. It's got to be ice cold before I can drink it at all. I tell you one thing that in Europe that'll drive me crazy. Beer and wine and everything over there is served at room temperature. You get a beer, it's not cold.
Yeah.
You tell them you want a cold beer and they'll put ice in it. And that tastes like crud. It, Bill, go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
Troy likes the microbrew beers. We have a few of those places here in the Tucson area.
Yeah, and hops get allergic to them. They're getting to be microbreweries everywhere. I noticed that we've got several distilleries now that are making vodka and gin and light alcohols, And then there's a couple of them that are starting to make bourbons and stuff. Yeah, I bet. Hot beer is not good. Ooh. Really, I didn't know that, Rat Pack. Yeah, it's everywhere now. And just right down the road from where I live, about 2 miles, there's a pretty good sized winery going in down there. They got all the grapevines going and the baps and the whole 9 yards. They claim Texas now is the top producer of American wines in the United States. It bypassed California. And of course, we got, grapes grow in rocky soil a lot better than they do anything else, and we got a ton of that kind of country. I was like you. I'd be working out in that sun, and it'd be 103, 104, and then you'd put a pair of gloves on, put a hood over your face, and light a fire. You start welding, So the, I'm used to that high heat too. And the other thing about that, now I don't know how you were, but if we had to get in a truck and move or something, the air conditioner never went on in the daytime.
Hmm.
You keep all the
Yeah,
windows down.
yeah, yeah. Unless it was really super humid.
Hey, take it easy, Tim Ray. Yeah, yeah, that's right. It picks the well. That's like where in France that they drink so much wine, but that was part of it. All the good water was privately owned. That was their drinking water. They could make the wine because they were having to pay for water way back in the 1800s.
Walla Walla has 120 wineries. Wow.
I tell you what, it's something I don't like wine at all. Yeah, those are good, y'all.
Are
The
those sweet onions in Walla Walla? Are those sweet onions?
yeah, the ones that I've got hold of,
Mhm.
they've got that, and then they got a what is that? We got one big onion, white onion down here, something 09 or something like that. And there's just one place here in Texas they'll grow.
Hmm.
They something about them, but they're really. I'm not a big onion eater, but they're good.
Oh, I love onions. I could eat sweet onion with a slice of bread and a little mayonnaise, and I'm good.
My dad would do that. He'd slice an onion and slap it up between two slices of bread and make an onion sandwich.
Hmm.
For years and years, onions would make me sick. Yeah, it's got where it don't bother me as bad now, but
William, I really can't say oddest thing that I've seen. I mean, I've lived in Arizona most of my life. We were watching the neighbor's property across the road while they were in Texas, and we were watering their plants the other day and had a nice big rattlesnake over there next to the one of their potted plants. So I recorded that and put that on my channel. It was published today if you want to go check it out.
Brett, gone on in. I went out there and those bats I was talking about. I went out there and pulled a couple onions out of that, cooked some stuff up today with them.
Mm.
But the onions are not near as big as they normally are, because it's just been too dry. I got where I like cooking. I got where I use a lot of garlic cooking anymore. They,
Yeah, we garlic's good for you. We use a lot of that too.
they, there's a place here. I'm gonna have to go by and see if it's still there sometime. This farmer uh, sold his place, and he just had where his house was. So he was trying to raise a garden, and he'd run out of room. So he just took a bunch of garlic and planted it in the ditch beside the highway. And there used to be a place over there that for about 5 miles it was solid garlic on the side of the road. It just, reproduced in over 20 years. It spread like that. And yeah, I didn't used to like that much, but since I sort of lost my taste and smell, well, I noticed I eat a lot spicier food, a lot more garlic, stuff like that, you know.
Now, somebody I know that's from Oregon said that the ditches over there grows asparagus, wild asparagus. Have you heard that? Maybe some people could tell us whether that's true or not, but it pretty well grows wild all over the place.
Do what? Yeah. I planted something else this year. I'm curious to see how they're going to work. You ever seen any of those walking onions?
Mm-hmm.
They'll grow up and they get a big seed pod on top of them, and they'll bend over, break the stem off and bend over. Well, it'd be a foot tall. Well, that seed pod will plant some more onions right there, and those things just walk like that every year.
Uh,
And they're good onions too. I
so
planted some.
they just repropagate themselves every year, huh?
Yeah, they've got that, and then I planted some more that uh, what they call bunching onions. You plant one pod, and it'll wind up being 12 or 15 pods when it
Mm-hmm.
gets through. But it didn't have as good a taste as those walking ones did.
Okay, so Tommy says Indiana has ditch asparagus too.
That's one thing I've never tried growing, but it doesn't it take 2 or 3 years to get asparagus where it's ready to harvest.
I don't know. I don't eat much of it.
I like it once in a while, but
No, Ann says she doesn't see it where she's at. I think the people that told me were from Bend, Oregon, up in that area.
but I haven't been in Oregon in a long time. Probably been 15 years. When I was up there, the apple orchards there in Washington were still a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bend is pretty high elevation. In fact, we rode our Harley up there to Bend to visit friends up there, and it was August 1st. Got up that morning to leave, and I had to brush the snow off the bike before we climbed on it.
Mm. I do not like the cold weather. That's the only thing I dislike about them bikes. And the storms, I got caught in a bad storm one night, and it was raining so hard you couldn't see 15 foot in front of you. And I knew there was a service station in front of me 3 or 4 miles, and I was going to try to ease up there. And I had a guy come in the opposite direction, and I had that Harley Road Glide with that sidecar on it. And a guy coming from the opposite direction met me just as I got on the bridge and come across and got in my lane. And I jerked it, and when I did, I hit that bridge railing.
Uh-huh.
Well, the sidecar hit it, and then the front tire was trying to go into it, and it started flipping. Well, I got on it hard and cutting that wheel trying to get off that bridge railing, but I rode that railing all the way across that bridge, probably, I don't know, 100 foot or something, 150 foot. And I made up my mind that night right there that if it's raining or it's were conditions where I couldn't see, by damn, I wouldn't get on that motorcycle. I'd park it and sit up underneath a tree for 4 hours.
Yeah.
You talk about lucky if I'd been over 2 inches further, where that sidecar could have grabbed. It busted the fiberglass on the sidecar.
And it's funny, isn't it, how your instincts take over? I've been in a couple of close calls too. In fact, one guy pulled out in front of me came out of a bar, pulled right out in front of me, and I just locked the back wheel up and slid around him. Went up to the next traffic light, and one guy pulled over next to me, and he said, "Dude, I don't know how you missed that guy, but congratulations." And it was just instinct. Um,
Reflex.
yeah, reflexes. Yeah.
There was 6 of us rode together when I was pretty heavy into the motorcycle as a young buck. And we went to Mexico City. We go to Monterey. We rode out to California one time. 2 of them were Waco City motorcycle cops. And did you know out of the 4, out of the 6, those 2 got killed escorting funerals and stuff on the motorcycle. You'd think it out on the highway as far as we run, it'd be a problem. I put one through a ditch one day and just missed a culvert by about. I went back and looked at the tracks, and I couldn't have been 2 inches off that culvert.
Yeah, and those guys that run those funeral escorts, boy, they're putting their life in their hands because they've got to jump out there and stop traffic.
Yeah, and there were 2 of us out of the 6 that didn't ever get hurt on it. But Lord, I've done so much stuff to get busted up that I shouldn't even be walking. Cat talking about that rodeo I used to. That was about as much fun as I could have crawling on that bull ride. Man, if I did that now, I wouldn't be able to walk for a month. Oh, me. Yeah, that's what I thought on that asparagus. Once you get it started, it takes 2 years for you to start harvesting, but it'll come back on its own then. You harvest it every year.
That takes quite a bit of water too. It needs to be moist, right?
I think
Just the
so.
right conditions.
I think everybody where they're born has got a lot to do with what they like. It's just like I can go on a trip. When I cross that Texas line, I start breathing better. It just doesn't. It's mental. But I think all of us are gonna have to start growing some of that stuff. I planted some okra early and it never did sprout. I need to plant some more. It likes hot weather. But now, and I like okra about any way you cook it. But I got to. Have you ever taken okra and put it on a grill?
I've tasted it, and that's probably the only way that I really eat okra is on a grill because it doesn't come off slimy, and I don't like that slimy.
It doesn't. Fried okra is not slimy. And that's the one thing I like to. I make some of the best pickled okra you ever put in your mouth, and it's not slimy at all. It's real crisp. The only trouble about that stuff, I can open a jar of it. Hell, I won't eat the whole jar.
Well, one of my neighbors dropped off a jar of that, and yeah, you're right, it wasn't too bad.
Well, I tell you what, we crowding 2 hours. I get. If y'all about ready, well, we'll start worrying about shutting this thing down. Janice, okra is not native to the United States. It comes from Africa. That's like sweet potatoes. They're not native. They come from South America. And we got a lot of, I think tomatoes came from Europe. People in Europe used to think tomatoes were poison. They wouldn't eat them. All right, William. Yeah, I'm gonna shut it down there in a minute.
All right. Well, glad you're feeling better, Ron. That's good to see you getting your energy back.
I'm gonna be all right now. You give me a couple more days, and I'll be back 100%.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm ready. I was ready.
Yeah,
I
being
just
sick
about
is
had
hard.
all of it I wanted.
Mhm.
But I guess it's sort of at my age, every day you make it, you done. That's a bonus. Got a lot of buddies that are not here right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I've got a few of those too. You got to enjoy every day, for sure.
I used to know an old woman that was a retired school teacher. She was a trip, and she'd gripe about it every month. She said, it's got where my damn flower bill for funerals is cost more than my grocery bill does. Oh Lord, I used to laugh at her.
Yeah.
She lived right next door to me, and one day that'd be the sweetest woman you could ever want to meet. And the next day she'd be the biggest bee you ever saw in your life. You couldn't stay around her. I thought to myself, boy, I feel sorry for them kids that had to go to school under her. Steve, I appreciate you coming up, man.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Ron. Appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
All right, good night. Good
Good
night
night.
to everybody in the chat,
Good night, everybody.
and we'll see y'all tomorrow night.